Earth was sealed away for millennia. The truth of why terrified the Galactic. Dr. Mara Quinn slipped through the shadows of the Mantari storage station, her emerald green chitin catching faint glints from the overhead lights. Tall and slender, she moved with a scholar's grace, her bright compound eyes scanning the vast orbital archive. Kilometers of humming servers stretched around her, a labyrinth of cold metal and glowing data streams, alive with secrets older than stars. Her Mantari robe brushed the floor, its edges whispering, adorned with a bracelet etched with ancient runes. Curiosity drove her. Truth was her hunt. She reached the restricted vault. A terminal flickered in the dark. Mara's claws danced over the controls, soft clicks echoing. The screen lit up. Files scrolled past, each a piece of the galaxy's buried past. Then she found it. The Helion 3 quarantine file, 4,000 years old. It spoke of a star system, Helion, sealed near the galactic core. A shiver ran through her. Why hide an entire system? But the file was scarred, key parts erased, a galactic council cover-up, no question. She leaned closer, her breath caught. The truth was close, too close. Alarms screamed, red lights pulsed like heartbeats. Security drones whirred, their lenses locking onto her. Dozens of Mantari sentinels stormed in, armored boots clanging, stun rifles humming. "Intruder, surrender now!" Their voices cut the air, sharp and mechanical. Mara's pulse raced. She hit download, fingers trembling. The file began transferring to her quantum data crystal, a tiny device that could hold empires' worth of secrets. But the sentinels were closing in, their steps a steady drumbeat. In a side room, Elias Keene hunched over his console. Young, thin, with hands that shook slightly, his bright eyes burned with focus. His short Mantari jacket bulged with gadgets, a testament to his restless mind. Upright, sensitive, always questioning, Elias was Mara's anchor. "Mara, they've got you pinned," he whispered into his comm. His fingers flew, hacking the station's grid. Cameras went dark across multiple levels. "Run! Now!" Stun bolts crackled. Mara dove behind a server bank, sparks showering as shots grazed the metal. "Elias, I've got the file. Need an exit." "Working on it," he muttered, sweat beading on his brow. A new voice cut through the comms, deep, gravelly. "This is Captain Aiden Rourke. Starlance is at Dock 7. Move fast, or you're done." Rourke, a Saurian mercenary, lounged in his ship's cockpit. His dark red scales gleamed under the console lights, his muscular frame marked by battle scars. Clad in ancient Saurian armor, a faded naval emblem on his chest, he was all loyalty and honor. Trouble was his trade, and Mara's signal screamed it. Mara sprinted through twisting corridors, Elias at her heels. "Who's this guy?" Elias panted, clutching his gear. "Saurian, mercenary. Only shot we've got," Mara said, voice steady despite the chaos. They burst into the docking bay. The Starlance loomed, sleek and battle-worn, its hull scarred but defiant. Rourke stood at the ramp, waving them in. "Move it!" Outside, a Draconian patrol cruiser hovered, its massive frame dwarfing the bay. Plasma cannons glowed, ready to unleash fire. "Halt, intruders!" it boomed. Rourke slid into the pilot's seat. "Strap in!" The Starlance's engines roared, a low growl that shook the deck. Plasma arcs seared past, melting steel beams. Rourke twisted the controls, ion thrusters flaring. The ship banked hard, dodging a lethal barrage. The hull groaned but held. Elias, strapped in, went pale. That was too close. Mara gripped the crystal, its faint pulse warm in her hand. Way too close. In the cockpit, Rourke punched hyperspace coordinates. Stars blurred into streaks. Silence fell, soft and heavy, broken only by the hum of the ship. He turned, eyes sharp. "So, what's worth dying for in that file?" Mara exhaled. "Helion, a whole star system, wiped from every map. Something happened there, and the council buried it. Rourke's scales glinted as he leaned back. My people, we've got holes in our history, battles we can't recall, legends of a lost war. This Helion thing might be the key. Elias shifted, nervous. There's a warning in the file. Do not rekindle the curse. That's not exactly a warm invite. Mara's eyes hardened. Truth doesn't hide without reason. We're going in. Rourke nodded, hands steady on the controls. Barriers ahead. No backing out now. The Starlins sailed through the void. A quiet settled, warm and tense, like a breath held too long. Mara stared at the stars, the crystal heavy in her palm. What waited in Helion? The question curled around her, tight and unyielding. They neared the barrier. Sensors pinged softly. A dark sphere loomed, swallowing light. Rourke's voice was low, steady. Here we go, Elias whispered. What if it's sealed for a reason? The Starlins glided through the void, its engines a low, soothing hum. Stars streaked past, faint glimmers in the endless dark. Mara sat at a console, the quantum data crystal glowing faintly in her hand. She fed it into the ship's scanner, pulling up the Helion file again. The words, "Do not rekindle the curse," pulsed on the screen, heavy and ominous. She pushed the thought aside, focusing on the barrier's coordinates. The Helion system lay ahead, hidden behind a wall no one had breached in millennia. Rourke manned the helm, his hands steady on the controls. The cockpit was a nest of glowing panels, bathed in soft blue light, its walls scarred from past battles. We're close, he said, voice low, like a distant storm. Sensors are picking up something massive. It's eating all our scans. Mara tapped her console, analyzing the barrier. It was a dark sphere, vast enough to swallow a star system whole, its surface rippling with exotic matter denser than anything in known physics. This thing, it's not natural, she murmured. It's like the universe itself decided to lock Helion away. Elias hunched over his own station, checked the ship's shields. His fingers danced nervously across the controls, monitoring the energy fields built to take a beating. Shields are holding steady, he said, voice cracking just a bit. But, Mara, this barrier's freaking me out. You sure about this? Mara shot him a look, sharp but kind. We've got the file. We've got a lead. You want to turn back now, Elias? He swallowed, shaking his head. Nah, I'm good. Just, checking. A warning flashed across Rourke's screen. Company, he growled. A multi-faction patrol appeared on the sensors. Draconian, Aquatic, and Mantari ships. A dozen in all, their hulls glinting like predators in the starlight. They're hailing us. Sounds like they're not happy. The comms crackled. Starlance, power down and prepare for boarding. A Draconian voice barked, cold and commanding. Rourke snorted. Like hell. He pushed the ion thrusters, the ship lurching forward. A salvo of antimatter torpedoes lit up the void, their trails blazing. Rourke twisted the controls, dodging with precision. The Starlin spun, weaving through the barrage, hull vibrating as a torpedo grazed too close. Damn it, Rourke! You're trying to get us killed, Elias yelped, gripping his seat. Relax, kid, Rourke said, calm as stone. I've dodged worse. Mara kept her eyes on the barrier's data. They're trying to stop us from getting in. Means we're on the right track. The ship's AI chimed in, its voice cool and measured. Barrier penetration carries significant risk. Structural integrity may be compromised. Elias groaned. Great, even the ship's nervous. Mara leaned back, her mind racing. Truth was her fuel. But this felt bigger than any dig she'd ever done. The barrier wasn't just a wall, it was a warning, a secret so deep the galaxy hid it for 4,000 years. She closed her eyes for a moment, the hum of the ship wrapping around her like a blanket. We're going through, she said softly. No matter what. Rourke glanced at her, nodding. Your call, Doc. The Starlin surged toward the barrier. Its dark surface loomed, a void that swallowed light and hope alike. The ship shuddered as it made contact, shields flaring bright, straining against forces that could crush steel like paper. Sparks danced across the consoles. Elias held his breath, hands clenched. A moment of silence stretched, heavy and warm. Then a jolt. They were through. The Helion system opened before them. Eden 3 hung in the distance, a planet larger than Earth, frozen in place, its surface locked in eerie twilight. Around it, thousands of warships floated, fossilized in space-time, their hulls silent as graves. The sight was a punch to the gut, a battlefield caught mid-scream. "Holy crap!" Elias whispered. "What happened here?" Rourke's jaw tightened. Something no one once remembered. Mara's scanner pinged. A faint signal pulsed from Eden 3's surface, encoded with a symbol she'd seen in the file. A warden mark, ancient and sharp. "It's coming from the planet," she said. "We need to land." Elias looked at her, eyes wide. "You're kidding, right? That place looks like it eats ships for breakfast." Rourke chuckled, low and rough. "Kid, if we're doing this, we're doing it all the way. Strap in." Mara stared at the planet, the crystal warm in her hand. The signal was soft but insistent, like a heartbeat in the dark. She didn't know what waited below, but every instinct screamed it was worth finding out. The starlings descended, the frozen battlefield fading above them, the mystery pulling them deeper. A hush enveloped the starlings' cockpit, its soft hum a steady pulse against the void. Rourke's gaze locked onto the viewport, where thousands of warships hung frozen in Helion's orbit. From sleek frigates to massive dreadnoughts, they formed a silent graveyard, their hulls catching faint glints from distant suns. His mercenary instincts sharpened. This wasn't just a relic, it was a battlefield caught mid-breath, a scar on the galaxy's memory. He scanned the scene, jaw tight. Aquatic bioships, their organic hulls laced with crystalline armor, floated beside Draconian battlecruisers, their surfaces pocked with plasma scars. No energy signatures, no life. Just stillness, thick and heavy, pressing against the ship like a held breath. "Looks like they were fighting when everything just stopped," Rourke said, his voice low, gravelly. "Something big went down here." Mara hunched over her scanner, claws tapping softly. "These ships are ancient, but the tech's unreal. I'm betting Warden design." Elias stared out, his hands fidgeting. "This place gives me the creeps. It's like time forgot how to move. You guys feel that?" Rourke grunted. "I feel a trap waiting to spring." He pointed to a debris field ahead, a tangle of shattered hulls. "That's a choke point, perfect for an ambush. We go slow." The starlings wove through the wreckage, its hull grazing past jagged remains. A derelict's railgun twitched, firing a massive projectile into the dark. Rourke yanked the controls, the ship veering sharply. The shot missed, the hull shuddering from the near impact. "Damn it!" Elias yelped, clutching his seat. "That thing's still alive?" "Old tech's got a long memory," Rourke said, steady as stone, eyes open. His mind flickered to a Saurian legend, a silent war that ended their golden age. Stories of lost fleets, histories wiped clean. This battlefield felt like it could be the source, a ghost of his people's past. He pushed the thought down, focusing on the path ahead. Mara's scanner pinged. She zoomed in on a nearby wreck. "Got nanites in the hull. They're rewriting the metal even now. Fast, like scarily fast." Rourke raised an eyebrow. "Wardens?" "Has to be," Mara said, her voice sharp with excitement. "No one else builds like that." Elias shifted, voice small. "Hey, Rourke, seriously, how do you stay so chill? I'm losing it over here." Rourke's eyes softened briefly. "Fear's just static, kid. Tune it out. Focus on what's real." It was a rare glimpse beneath his armor, gone as quickly as it came. A sudden pulse hit the sensors, sharp and urgent, from Eden 3's equator. The Warden symbol flashed on Mara's screen. "That's our target," she said, leaning forward. It's coming from the surface. Before Rourke could answer, a shadow stirred in the debris. A Warden drone, wide as a shuttle, unfolded from a wreck, its hull gleaming with menace. Laser arrays hummed, firing red beams that sliced through a nearby frigate's remains. "Hold tight," Rourke snapped. He banked the Starlins hard, dodging a barrage of beams that scorched the void. The cockpit flared with warnings, shields glowing under the strain. Elias fumbled his console. "What the hell is that thing?" "Trouble," Rourke growled. He locked onto the drone, the Star Lance's pulse cannon charging with a deep whine. A single shot erupted, a brilliant flash that shattered the drone into glinting fragments. Mara exhaled, tense. "Nice one." "Don't get comfy," Rourke said. "Where there's one, there's more." The Starlins cleared the debris, Eden 3 filling the viewport. The planet's surface shimmered in gray and violet, locked in endless twilight. The signal grew stronger, a steady thrum calling them down. Mara gripped the data crystal, its faint pulse warm in her hand. "Whatever's waiting, it's big," she said. Elias glanced at Rourke. "Are we ready for this?" Rourke's eyes stayed on the planet. "Ready or not, we're going." The Starlin settled onto Eden 3's surface, its landing gear crunching into gray ash. The planet stretched out, cloaked in violet twilight, its air breathable but thick, unmoving without rotation. The stillness was unnatural, like a world paused mid-sentence. Mara stepped out, her robe catching the faint glow of the ship's lights. The quantum data crystal pulsed in her hand, a quiet rhythm urging her forward. Rourke scanned the horizon, hand on his blaster. "This place feels like a trap. Eyes open." Elias clutched his gear, voice shaky. "Yeah, it's like the whole planet's staring at us. Are we sure about this?" Mara's scanner hummed as she moved toward a cluster of ruins. Jagged stone spires loomed, etched with Warden symbols, sharp and ancient. The structures hinted at a civilization that once ruled countless stars. "These ruins are old," she said, voice low, steady. "Older than any archive I've touched." They followed a worn path to a subterranean vault, its black alloy door half buried in ash. Mara's scanner interfaced, and the slab groaned open. Inside, the air turned cold, walls lined with crystalline pods. Millions of humans lie inside, frozen in stasis, their faces serene, untouched by time. Elias froze. "Holy crap, that's a lot of people." Rourke's eyes narrowed. "This is why they sealed the system? Hiding a whole damn species?" Mara reached a central pedestal, where glowing text read, "The Pact of Vision." She traced the words, voice tinged with awe. "A blood covenant, humans and wardens, gave humans the ability to see the future." Elias blinked. "What, like fortune-telling? That's wild." "There's a downside," Mara said, scanning deeper. "This gift screws with other species, wipes out their cultures, their identities over time. It's a curse." Rourke crossed his arms. "No wonder the Council buried it. That kind of power's trouble." Elias hacked a Warden terminal nearby, fingers darting over the controls. The screen flickered, spitting out fragmented data. "Says here humans joined the Wardens to stop a massive galactic war, but the curse got out of control, so they locked it all away." Mara's scanner beeped. The terminal showed the barrier's energy matrix unraveling. "It's collapsing," she said. "We've got maybe days before it's gone." A hologram flickered to life. Commander Nora Hale stood before them, her silver armor marked with an Earth Exile emblem, black hair pulled tight. Her eyes held a quiet strength, worn by time. "You've breached the seal," she said, voice calm but firm. "Awakening humanity will unleash the curse again. It'll spread." Elias jumped. "Whoa, okay, where'd she come from?" Rourke stepped closer. "You're in charge here? What's the deal with this curse?" Nora's gaze didn't waver. "We took the pact to save the galaxy, but it costs too much. The barrier holds it back, but it's failing. You decide, seal us forever or risk chaos." Mara's mind churned. "The Wardens, They're gone, aren't they? Their own tech probably ate them up, left this behind. Elias glanced around, nervous. So what? We wake these people, and everyone else loses who they are? Or we keep them locked up? That's messed up, Mara. Rourke grunted. There's another play. Break the pact, kill the curse. But nothing's that simple. Mara nodded, voice sharp. No single race gets to call the shot. We need the full picture. Nora's hologram flickered. Choose quickly, time's running out. The vault's pods hummed softly, a lulling drone that filled the silence. Mara gripped the crystal, its pulse steady. Millions of lives hung in the balance. Seal them, free them, break the pact. Each choice was a gamble, and the stakes were galactic. Elias shifted, voice low. What's the right move here? Mara stayed focused on the terminal. We find out what's calling us. That signal from the equator, it's got answers. Rourke checked his blaster, sensing the tension. Whatever's next, we're walking into it blind. Stay sharp. The group moved toward the vault's exit, the signal from Eden 3's equator pulsing stronger, a clear beacon in the dark. Nora's hologram faded, but her warning lingered. The Starlance waited above, ready to carry them deeper into the planet's secrets. Mara clutched the data crystal, its faint pulse a lifeline as the Starlance hovered above Eden 3's twilight-shrouded surface. The cockpit glowed with soft blue light, consoles humming in the tense quiet. Rourke's hands rested on the controls, steady but alert, while Elias fiddled with his gear, eyes darting to the sensors. The signal from the equator thrummed stronger, a relentless call. But before they could chase it, a holotransmission cut through, sharp and urgent. Commander Nora Hale's hologram materialized, her silver armor stark with the Earth Exile emblem. Her voice carried the weight of centuries, calm but edged with steel. The barrier's decay has reached critical. The Alliance knows. They're calling a meeting. Now. Rourke snorted, his voice a low growl. Perfect. More talking heads when we're on the clock. Mara's eyes narrowed, the crystal warm in her hand. They're scared. Scared means we're close to something they can't control. The holofeed flared, projecting a vast council chamber across the stars. Leaders from a dozen factions appeared. Draconians with jagged scales, Aquatics shimmering with bioluminescence, and others representing countless worlds. The virtual walls pulsed with star charts, a stark backdrop to their rising voices. A Draconian delegate slammed a clawed fist, his voice like grinding stone. The humans stay sealed. Their curse obliterated 12 cultures. We won't lose more. An aquatic leader countered, their tone fluid but firm. Our sensors find no malice in the pods. They deserve freedom. Let them wake. Nora's gaze hardened, silencing the room. The barrier's collapsing faster than we thought. Days, maybe hours before it's gone. We decide now, or the curse decides for us. Elias leaned toward Mara, voice low. Hours? That's bad, right? Like really bad. Mara's jaw tightened. It's a damn countdown. She stood facing the council. The Galactic Charter demands a vote. Every species gets a say. You don't get to bury millions just 'cause it's easier. The Draconians snarled. Easier. Their curse'll strip us of who we are. Rourke leaned forward, his voice cutting through. Break the pact. You kill the curse. But you also leave them naked against your fleets. That's what you want? Elias piped up, his voice steadier despite the shake in his hands. Wait a sec. If we keep this curse, what does that do to freedom? Like for everybody? The council erupted, voices clashing like blades. Draconians demanded sealing, citing lost worlds. Aquatics pushed for awakening, trusting their sensors. Others wavered, torn between fear and justice. Nora stood silent, her eyes distant. She saw the pods in her mind, millions of her people, their lives her burden. Pride burned in her, but the curse's shadow loomed larger, a threat to all she'd fought for. We don't beg, she said, voice low, resonant. But I won't let our existence destroy yours. Mara caught Rourke's eye. She's carrying a whole species on her back. That's not just duty, that's sacrifice. Rourke nodded, his voice grim. And we're running out of time to help her carry it. The vote stalled. Factions split even. Seal, awaken, sever. The chamber's air grew thick, the hollow feed flickering with tension. Elias shifted, his voice barely above a whisper. They're just gonna yell till it's too late, aren't they? Nora's hologram turned to them, her eyes piercing. The choice is ours, mine. But you need to see what's at stake. Go to the signal. Mara's grip tightened on the crystal. That signal's the key. It's tied to the pact. We follow it. We get the truth. Rourke checked his blaster, a reflex under pressure. Truth or not, we're walking into a storm. I can feel it. Elias swallowed hard. Yeah, because this hasn't been stressful enough. The starlinks banked toward the equator. The signal, a sharp beacon cutting through the dark. The cockpit's hum wrapped around them, a warm pulse against the rising stakes. Mara's mind raced. Millions of lives, a galaxy's future, all hanging on their next move. The council's voices faded, but their weight lingered, a shadow over the path ahead. Rourke glanced at the sensors, his voice low. Something's moving down there, not friendly. Mara nodded, her focus on the signal. Then we meet it head on. Whatever's waiting, it's part of this. Dust swirled across Eden 3's surface as the Starlance settled near the equator, its engines a low growl against the planet's eerie quiet. The signal led them to a towering warden structure, a spire of black alloy piercing the violet twilight. Inside, the air was thick, charged with a hum that set Mara's chitin tingling. She gripped the data crystal, its pulse racing now, syncing with the spire's energy. Rourke's blaster was ready, his eyes scanning every shadow. Elias trailed close, his gear clanking, nerves barely held in check. Nora's hologram flickered beside them, her silver armor glinting. The pact ends here, she said, voice steady but heavy. I'll sever it. Freedom over prophecy. She moved to a massive obelisk at the spire's heart, its surface pulsing with raw energy, resisting her approach. Mara's scanner flared. That thing's alive. Thousands of runes, all warden. It's fighting back. Rourke's jaw tightened. Figures. Nothing's ever easy. Nora began the ritual, her hands tracing symbols in the air, each glowing briefly before fading. The obelisk hummed louder, a deep, angry drone that shook the floor. Mara dove into the runes, her archaeological mind racing to crack their code. There's a shutdown sequence, she said, her claws tapping her console. Got it. Nora, follow my lead. Elias hunched over a terminal, hacked the spire systems. I'm rerouting power, he muttered, fingers flying. This thing's got enough juice to fry us, but I'm pulling most of it. Keep it steady, kid, Rourke said, his voice a calm anchor. The obelisk's energy surged, a backlash that sent tremors through the spire. Cracks splintered the thick walls, dust raining down. Nora pressed on, her body glowing faintly as she channeled the pack's prophetic energy. Her face tightened, pain etching her features, but she didn't falter. Then movement. Warden drones unfolded from the walls, 20 in all, their laser arrays humming with lethal intent. Red beams lanced out, scorching the air. Rourke reacted instantly, diving for cover and returning fire with his blaster. Get down! He barked, shots cracking against a drone's hull. Mara ducked behind a pillar, shouting, Keep the ritual going! We've got this! Elias yelped, dodging a beam that melted a console. Got this? We're getting roasted! Rourke rolled, his shots precise, taking down 2 drones in bursts of sparks. Focus, kid! Keep that hack running! The spire shook harder, tremors rattling the pods in the distance. Nora's glow intensified, her voice strained. It's working! The pack's breaking! Her knees buckled, but she held firm, hands trembling as she traced the final symbols. Mara fed her the last rune sequence. "Now, Nora, hit it!" The obelisk flared, its energy spiking wildly. The warden symbol on its surface flickered, then began to fade. A Draconian fleet's warning cut through the comms, their ships closing in outside. "Cease immediately," their commander roared, firing warning shots that shook the spire's foundation. Rourke growled, sprinting to a control panel. "They're not stopping us." He slammed the Star Lance's remote interface, overloading its shields to unleash a massive EMP. The pulse rippled out, a silent wave that crippled the fleet's systems, their ships drifting helplessly. Elias whooped, despite the chaos. "Hell yeah, that's how you do it!" The obelisk's hum faltered. The warden symbol vanished completely. Nora collapsed, her glow fading, breath ragged. The spire stilled, the air heavy with a sudden warm silence. Mara caught her breath, the crystal still in her hand. "It's done. The curse is gone." Rourke scanned the drone's remains, blaster ready. "Don't celebrate yet. We're not out." Nora struggled to her feet, her voice weak but resolute. "The barrier's falling. Humanity will wake, but they'll need you now." Elias looked around wide-eyed. "Wait, that's it? We did it?" Mara's eyes stayed on the obelisk, now dark. "Not over. Not by a long shot." Rourke nodded toward the exit. "Fleet's down, but they'll recover. We need to move." The group hurried back to the Starlands, the spire's quiet hum fading behind them. The signal was gone, its purpose fulfilled, but the weight of their choice pressed harder. Mara clutched the crystal, its pulse faint now. The barrier's collapse was imminent, and with it, a galaxy's fate hung in the balance. The Starlands roared skyward, leaving the Warden's spire behind as Eden 3 trembled beneath. The barrier's collapse lit the void, its dark sphere dissolving like ash in the wind, revealing Helion's 7 suns blazing across the galaxy for the first time in millennia. Mara gripped her console, the data crystal now still, its pulse gone. Rourke piloted with fierce precision, eyes locked on the sensors. Elias, strapped in, stared wide-eyed at the viewport, where the planet's surface began to shift, its rotation grinding back to life. "It's moving," Elias said, voice shaky with awe. "The whole planet's waking up." Mara's scanner flared with data. The pods below, millions of humans, stirred from stasis, their vitals spiking. "They're alive," she said, her voice sharp, urgent. "Almost all of them. No trace of the curse." Rourke grunted, hands steady on the controls. "Good, but we're not clear yet." A rogue aquatic faction broke through the chaos, 8 bioships surging into view, their organic hulls pulsing with neurotoxic projectiles. The Starland shuddered as a salvo grazed its shields, sparks dancing across the cockpit. Rourke banked hard, dodging a second wave. "Damn it, they're not playing nice," he growled, flipping the weapons array online. Elias fumbled with his console. "Why are they shooting? I thought we fixed this." "They don't trust humans waking up," Mara snapped, rerouting power to the shields. "Rourke, keep us moving." The Starlands twisted through the onslaught, pulse cannons firing back, tearing into a bioship's hull. Its crystalline armor shattered, leaking bioluminescent fluid into the void. Rourke's voice stayed calm, lethal. "1 down, 7 to go." Below, Eden 3's day-night cycle flickered to life, shadows shifting across its surface. Nora's voice crackled through the comms, weak but resolute. "My people are awake," she said, still in the spire. "They're disoriented but alive. Tell them to build anew." Mara nodded, though Nora couldn't see. "We'll get 'em out, Nora. Hang on." Elias patched into the Starlance's transmitter, his fingers flying. "I'm sending a message galaxy-wide. Let everyone know humanity's back." His voice steadied, a spark of confidence breaking through. The signal blasted out, a beacon declaring the return of a lost species. The Draconian fleet, recovering from the EMP, loomed on the sensors. Their commander's voice roared through the comms. "Surrender the humans, or we burn that planet to ash." Rourke smirked. "They're late to the party." Moderate alliance factions intervened, their ships forming a blockade. A Mantari voice cut in, firm. Stand down, Draconians. The council voted. Humanity's free. The Draconian ships hesitated, then powered down, their threat fading. Silence settled in the cockpit, warm but fleeting. Mara leaned back, her mind turning. The truth she'd chased had cost a mythic power, but it freed millions. Her curiosity, once reckless, now felt tempered, grounded by the lives at stake. Nice work, Doc, Rourke said, his voice softer, almost proud. She gave a small nod. We're not done yet. The Starlings led a convoy of human transports, dozens of vessels rising from Eden 3, each carrying thousands of awakened souls. They headed for a neutral colony world, the planet's lights a faint promise in the distance. Mara monitored their vitals, her scanner steady. They're strong, she said, ready for whatever's next. Elias grinned, his usual nerves replaced by a quiet fire. Kinda cool, right? We just changed everything. Rourke chuckled, low and rough. Don't get cocky, kid. A faint hum interrupted them. A warden relic, a small metallic orb, flared to life on Mara's console, its surface etched with runes. It pulsed once, twice, then went dark. A hint of something more, a shadow of the warden's return. Mara's breath caught. That's not good. Rourke glanced at it, his voice grim. One fight at a time. The convoy pressed on, the Starlings at its head. Nora's voice came through again, faint but clear. Thank you for giving us a chance. The comms cut, leaving a warm, heavy quiet. New Terra's skies glowed soft orange as the Starlings guided the human convoy to its surface. The planet, slightly larger than Earth, shimmered with green plains and sprawling cities, home to billions who watched the newcomers with cautious hope. The cockpit hummed quietly, its lights casting a warm glow over Mara, Rourke, and Elias. The data crystal sat dormant on Mara's console, its secrets spent. Outside, transports landed, their ramps lowering to release thousands of awakened humans, stepping into a new world. Mara stood at the viewport, her robe still dusted with Eden 3's ash. They're starting over, she said, voice low, almost reverent. No curse, no prophecy, just them. Rourke eased back in his seat, hands off the controls for the first time in days. They've got a shot. That's more than most get. Elias, his usual nerves replaced by a quiet confidence, grinned. Kinda wild, huh? We pulled it off. Saved a whole species. Don't get too proud, kid, Rourke said, but a faint smile tugged at his lips. Mara joined the Galactic Council soon after, her voice sharp and steady as she pushed for open records across countless star systems. No more buried truths. Rourke hung up his mercenary life, trading battle scars for a new role training human pilots. His tactics, honed over decades, became their foundation. Elias, no longer the shaky assistant, led a research team, diving into warden artifacts with a bold curiosity, cataloging their tech for peaceful use. Nora oversaw humanity's integration, her silver armor now a beacon of resilience. She moved among her people, guiding them as they built homes, schools, and lives. The Alliance, after heated debates, drafted a new charter, granting humans equal standing among galactic factions. The immovable battlefield, with its thousands of frozen ships, was declared a monument, a silent reminder of power's cost. Mara walked New Terra's streets one evening, the air warm, alive with voices. Elias joined her, his jacket still stuffed with gadgets. You ever think about what we lost? He asked, voice soft. The prophecy thing. It was power, right? She paused, her compound eyes catching the sunset. Power's nothing if it chains you. They're free now. That's enough. Rourke caught up, his armor swapped for simpler gear. You two getting soft on me? He teased, but his tone was warm, a far cry from the gruff mercenary they'd met. Something had shifted between them all, a bond forged in the fire of Helion's secrets. Mara met his gaze, a quiet understanding passing between them, not quite romance, but a shared strength, a trust hard-earned. The humans held their first vote, a democratic hum that swept New Terra. Crowds gathered, their voices rising in a steady rhythm, choosing a path of exploration, peace. Mara watched from the sidelines, the crystal tucked away, its pulse gone, but its weight still felt. She opened her log, her voice steady, warm, carrying the ASMR calm of a story's end. Freedom isn't a gift, she said, words meant for the galaxy but spoken to herself. It's a choice we make every day, for ourselves, for each other. We broke the pact, lost the prophecy, but gained something better, a chance to build, to be equal, to shape a future no one can dictate. That's what we fought for. She closed the log, the words lingering, soft and profound. The crowd's cheers faded into a gentle hum, the planet's pulse. A distant signal flickered on her scanner, faint from beyond the galaxy. It pulsed once, then vanished, a whisper of mysteries yet to come. Mara didn't flinch. She'd faced the unknown before. Rourke clapped her shoulder. Ready for the next one? She smirked. Always. Elias laughed, his confidence now unshakable. Let's hope it's less explode. The trio walked on, New Terra's light stretching ahead. Humanity stood, not as prophets, but as equals, their future unwritten. The stars watched, silent and vast, holding secrets yet to be chased.